What's good, y'all? Marcus Frazier from Teachable Tuesdays here to motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to be a better you. Thank you for joining me today. Greatly appreciate it. Oh, that was my computer going dead. Anyways, if you could, as always, please hit the like button, subscribe button, hit the notification button, so that way you can stay up to date with all of my future Teachable Tuesdays content. And today, I want to talk about freedom. And I'm not talking about freedom just because it's the 4th of July. I have my thoughts about the 4th of July. This is not the video for it, obviously. But I want to talk to you about freedom in the sense of freedom of life. And the title of the video is, Are You Really Free? And the reason why I bring this video up, and again, I know it's kind of ironic that I'm bringing this up on the 4th of July, is because a lot of times we think from one sense of the word free, that we are free to do what we want, we're free to move how we want, we're free to act how we want. But are you really free? And I'm going to bring this up across multiple playing fields. I promise this is not going to be a long video, but it's going to be a lot to take in a very short period of time. When you think about the definition of freedom, that is the ability to move unrestricted, unbound. That is the definition of freedom. No restrictions, no boundaries. But is that in essence the true definition of freedom? Are you really free just because you're not restricted? Are you really free just because you are unbound to certain people or certain things? And the answer for that is simply this. No, you're not. Now, granted, depending on where you live at throughout the world, I know here in the United States, for the most part, you are pretty much free to do as you please as long as it goes along with the law, as long as it doesn't compromise other people's morals and values and so on and so forth. Obviously, once you cross that line of breaking the law, you are no longer free and you're putting yourself in danger of being bound to some form of capacity based on whatever corrective action that may be. So, for example, obviously, if you rob from a store, what happens? You get arrested. Obviously, if you act a certain way within a club, you might be banned from coming to that club. And that restricts a bit of your freedom, right? Because you no longer have the same access that you had before. Let me ask you this question. What if you could transfer that over to other parts of your life, right? Now, I know some of y'all are like, Marcus, where are you going at with this? Just bear with me for a second, right? Let's say you are out here, and I'm going to use the extreme example. Yes, I'm going to go there just for a quick second. Let's say you out here, you're having a good time, you're single, maybe you're not single. I hope if you're doing this, you're single and not in a relationship, because if you are, it just makes it worse. But you out and about, and you for the streets. For the streets, right? You are a man or a woman, and you're just having fun. You're meeting multiple people. You are doing stuff you ain't supposed to be doing, if you know exactly what I mean, and just having the time of your life, right? And you might be thinking to yourself, "Oh, I'm free." What do the ladies call it these days? Sexual liberty, sexual freedom, something like that, right? You may think that you're really free, but the reality is you're not. You're tied down to SE, addiction. That's essentially what's going on with you. And the reason I say you're not free is because, yes, you're free to move how you want. You're free to express yourself how you want, but something has you bound. Because then my question is this: if you're so occupied with that and meeting multiple people and doing this and that and so on and so forth, what else are you doing with your time? And I know that's an extreme example, so of course I have to give a non-extreme example as well. Let's say that you are working at a 9-to-5 job, which, by the way, there's nothing wrong with working a 9-to-5 job, especially if you enjoy it. But let's say you don't enjoy your 9-to-5 job. I mean, shoot, I work at a 9-to-5 job, but I enjoy where I work, right? Are you free? No, you're not. Because you feel tied down, you feel restricted because you're going to work every day. You're like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to move in this route. I don't want to go that route. I just don't feel like getting up. I'm sick of my job and so on and so forth. And all you do every single day is complain. You're not free. I mean, yeah, you're free to walk around. You get up in your whip, you drive to work, or you catch the bus, or whatever. You have what you want to have for lunch. Maybe it's something you cooked from home. Maybe you got some Chick-fil-A for lunch, and all that sounds lovely. But you're not free because you're restricted, because essentially what you're doing is you don't have the freedom to fully express yourself the way you want to, or to be in a position that you want to be. And there could be several reasons as to why. But bottom line is, you're still bound. See, anytime you are bound by any portion of life, you are not technically free. Now, will you ever be technically completely free in a sense? Not really. I don't think we're free from life until death happens. Ooh, I'm going to say that for the people in the back. We're not really free from life until death happens. And the reason big is because there's always going to be something that's tries to have us chained up, try to have us bound down, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, whatever the case may be, right? Why do you think they talk about certain things like financial freedom and things of that sort? So your question to me might be, well, Marcus, if that's the case, if we're not really free, how do we become free? Well, I'm going to talk about this in the spiritual sense, and I'm also going to talk about this in an earthly sense as well. Of course, I'm going to talk about the spiritual sense first because it's the most important. The Word of God talks about, and I'm paraphrasing it here, but whoever believes in the Son is free indeed, something to that extent, right? And when I say the Son, who am I referring to? I'm referring to Yeshua, the Most High, or Jesus the Christ, right? So not only when you believe in Him and you believe in God, but you put yourself in a position where you're giving it all to God, that is a form of freedom. You want to know why it's a form of freedom? Because I'm going to tell you another form of non-freedom, when you're quick to hold on to stuff and try to self-regulate and control everything. That's not a form of freedom. And some people might be like, well, Marcus, that's weird. You know, me not being able to control stuff, that's a form of freedom? Yes, when you surrender it to the one who can. Because I think so many times in life, we're control freaks. I've been guilty of that. This is probably the first year in a long time where I've really just let things go and given it to God, right? But in a lot of situations beforehand, I was very much a control freak, you know what I'm saying? And there are just certain things in life that I can't control. And once I begin to realize that, I gain a sense of freedom. Because here's another thing that freedom is the equivalent to. Freedom is also the equivalent to peace. So when you feel peace in your spirit and your energy, and you're like, okay, it's cool, I don't have to have these things, or at least I don't have to have these things right now, or I'll just let them come in their own time, that's a sense of freedom. Because now you are no longer worried or losing sleep at night about certain things. You're just like, you know what, God, hey, here you go. You take it, you good. Or maybe you had a past situation, with people or with things. It's like, you know what, it is what it is. I'm letting it go. That's a sense of freedom. Because you're choosing peace over chaos. When you choose peace over chaos, that's freedom. And now I'm going to relate it to an earthly sense. So one way that you can get past freedom, and this kind of ties to the spiritual sense as well, is just accepting the fact that things are not going to always be the way you want them to be. I think when I accepted that fact in life, I became so much more free, because now at this point, everything does not have to be everything. What do I mean by everything does not have to be everything? I mean that I have a plan and a vision for my life. And yes, Habakkuk 2:2 in the Bible says, write the vision, make it plain. And it's very important to, when you got goals, go out and meet them. Go out, push yourself. Be on your purpose. Be on your grind. That is the one thing, especially, that I tell, and everybody should do this, not just men, but especially for my fellas. I tell y'all to do this all day. Make sure you're on your purpose. Make sure you're on your grind. Make sure you understand your assignment. Extremely, extremely important. However, I'm also going to add this to that. Within your assignment, you got to realize that sometimes there are some assignments that you don't have to do, right? I know me as a teacher, 95% of my assignments are mandatory. The other 5% are for recreational use only. I mean, you can get extra credit, extra class bank points, so on and so forth, right? So when I apply those methods, it's like you got the choice. And if it's like a side quest. Don't neglect your main quest for a side quest, right? It's kind of like when I have some of my students in class, what they'll do is they'll be like, oh, I'm gonna do the extra credit, but they ain't done the main credit. What's the point? You know what I'm saying? Extra credit ain't gonna help you if you ain't done none of the main credit. So yeah, don't neglect your main course for your side course, but understand that on your journey in life, you don't have to do every single thing, and that's a part of freedom as well. Sometimes we do too much. learning to relax, learning to be copacetic with the way things are in life. That could be a form of freedom. So overall, I want you to ask yourself this question before we end this video. Are you free? If you're not free, what's holding on to you? What's holding you in bondage? Could it be some form of an addiction? Could it be people that you need to let go of? Could it be resentment from the past? Could it be unforgiveness, which ties into resentment? Could it be the fact that you are at a 9-to-5 job, or any job for that matter, that you strongly dislike? Could it be yourself being a control freak? All of these things are important. And if you're not free today, I encourage you to learn to let go of the things that no longer serve your purpose. But even beyond that, find ways in which you can live your life free, so that way you can get all that you want and you can be all that you can be. So Marcus Frazier from Teachable Tuesdays here to motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to be a better you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. Love you guys. Hope you have a great day. And of course, I will talk to y'all soon.